Welcome to the Digital Double Team, your place for unbiased sports talk.
Welcome to the Digital Double Team, where today we're talking about a move that is absolutely shaking the sports world to its core. The UFC has just signed an agreement that's not just making waves, it's a full-on tsunami, and it's completely rewriting the rules for how we watch sports. Let's get right into it.
First things first, just look at this number, $7.7 billion. That's the staggering price tag for the UFC's new exclusive home in the US. A number like that puts the UFC in the absolute top tier of global sports properties, no question about it.
But you know what? As mind-blowing as that number is, it's not even the most important part of this story. Not by a long shot. The real earthquake here is what this deal gets rid of forever. We are literally watching the end of an era, and for fight fans, it's a massive, massive win. Okay, so let's break down the fundamentals. What exactly is in this game-changing agreement between the UFC and its new partner, Paramount?
So here are the nuts and bolts. Starting in 2026, Paramount becomes the one and only place to watch the UFC in the United States. It's a 7-year deal averaging about $1.1 billion a year. But here's the most crucial part. Every single event, from the weekly fight nights all the way up to the biggest numbered pay-per-view cards, will all be on one platform, Paramount+.
And that brings us to the biggest change of all. For decades, the biggest fights have meant one thing, right? Pay-per-view. Well, that's all about to change.
I mean, just look at this difference. It's night and day. Right now, to watch a big UFC card, you need an ESPN Plus subscription, and you have to shell out around $80 for the pay-per-view. But starting in 2026, all you're going to need is a Paramount Plus subscription. That's it. The $80 paywall just completely disappears.
So, what does this actually boil down to for you, the viewer? It's pretty simple, actually. You get more fights, and it costs a whole lot less.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. The UFC's CEO, Dana White, he put it perfectly. He said, "This deal makes the sport more affordable and accessible. For the first time ever, every fight is there without an extra purchase. That huge barrier to entry for the biggest events? It's been completely demolished."
Now, this is obviously huge for the fans, but what about for the UFC as an organization? Well, this isn't just a simple broadcast deal, it is a grand strategy for some serious growth.
See, by killing pay-per-view, the UFC is making a bet on massive expansion. Just think about it. Instead of asking a casual fan to fork over $80 for one night, now they just have to click play on a streaming service they might already have. This is a game changer for discoverability. It's how you turn casual viewers into hardcore fans. It puts a much, much bigger spotlight on the fighters. Now just imagine for a second if boxing did this. Can you picture a world where the biggest championship fights weren't hidden behind a paywall but were just there? This is the blueprint for taking a combat sport truly mainstream. Okay, so we know why the UFC did it. It's all about growth. But why on earth did Paramount spend nearly $8 billion? Well, the answer has everything to do with the brutal competition we call the streaming wars.
Paramount CEO David Ellison, he lays it out pretty clearly right here. In a world where you have a dozen different streaming services to choose from, live sports are a secret weapon. They're one of the very few things people will absolutely pay for and insist on watching live. The UFC gives them year-round, must-see events that don't just attract new subscribers, but more importantly, keep them from hitting that cancel button. It's a powerful tool for building loyalty.
Okay, so we've broken down the deal from all sides, but now I really want to hear from you.
If this explainer helped you make sense of all this, do me a favor and hit that like button. And hey, share it with another sports fan you know. Of course, subscribe for more explainers just like this one. And seriously, I want to know what you think. Drop your feedback in the comments. Is this a huge win for fans or what? All right, so when you zoom out, what's the big takeaway here? This deal is about so much more than just the money. It's a massive strategic pivot that could completely redefine how an entire generation consumes sports. Which brings us to one final, huge question.
By ditching the per-event fees in favor of mass accessibility, has the UFC just created the new playbook for every other major sports league trying to win in the streaming era? Thanks so much for taking the time to join us for this explainer. We'll see you on the next one.